People hated that they were in the booth.
Right.
Barkley's wandering over, and he might as well have a hoagie in one hand and a drink in the other, and he's like, "What? They're front court. That guy's big." And it's like it's the first thought that pops into his head. We've got a tension around here the last couple of days with ESPNU and Fusion Television because I ask for stuff around here. You know, it's a sports media juggernaut, ESPN. It's the biggest sports media company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes months to get stuff done. Like you ask for a graphic to go to appear on television, it takes months. The scroll took months. The squawk box took months. And so what I want to ask is this, Charlie. Do you have the ability to pixelate my face? Do you have the ability to, like, when, you know, somebody's a fugitive or a drug dealer being interviewed in a documentary, can you pixelate my face?
Like a live pixelation as the show is occurring?
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, right.
You got 3 years.
All right. See if we can get that done by 2019.
I'm on it.
All right.
If you have $3 billion.
The reason I'm asking, okay, and this is here at the highest rung of the show business ladder. I right now am wearing a Lucha Libre mask. I'm wearing who's the most famous masked wrestler of all time?
Well, right now you're wearing a Rey Mysterio mask, and certainly he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Anyone else?
Mil Máscaras.
I think of Mil Máscaras. That's the first person I think of. But anyways, I'm wearing this because the crew here told me the shipping container filled with frightened refugees. They told me my beard is improperly shaven, that I look ridiculous, that I looked ridiculous on SportsCenter, and so now I am concealing myself by wearing a wrestling mask, as we call Dollar Shave Club, in an emergency to get here by ambulance with a police escort to fix my poorly shaven face.
Yeah, what happened was, and I'm not certain if you were going for this look, if you thought it was trendy, if you thought the young kids were doing it, is you shave your mustache hair is a lot longer than the hair on the rest of your face. It's weird.
A lot of people are complaining around here. Ben just came out and said, well, the problem is that your eyebrows are too thick, and it's making everything disproportionate.
You should shave your eyebrows, too.
Yeah, okay. Get Dollar Shave Club here immediately. Texter writes in here correctly, way too much Charlie lately. This mask is a little tight because I got a big head, and so I feel like I might sound a little nasally, so forgive that until Dollar Shave Club gets here.
Is it the big head or the fat face?
It could be either. We're squeezing 10 pounds of sausage into a 4-pound bag. So it might be a combination of the two.
I mean, when you were done shaving, you didn't look in the mirror and say to yourself, hey, this is unproportional.
Well,
because there are 3 levels of hair on your face. The mustache hair is the longest, the chin hair is second longest, and the sides are the shortest. Like, were you going for it? Just be honest. Is that what you were going for? Did someone tell you this is an in look for the kids?
A, you already asked me this question in the local hour. And B, why would anybody be going for a look that requires a mask to start on ESPNU and Fusion Television and an emergency call to one of our sponsors to fix my face? Why would I have been going for this?
I mean, you tell me.
Stop asking me that. It's an idiotic question.
Wow.
What am I going for?
I mean, perhaps someone told you this is what the kids are doing these days, because I feel like I don't disagree with the audience when they say you're trying too hard, both with your hat and your look and the whole deal. Like, you're 50, man. Just accept it.
Okay, I'm not 50. And the way this conversation started before the show is I was on SportsCenter wearing one of my brother's hats, LeboArt.com. He's an artist, and I'm always my entire wardrobe is just my brother's stuff. Yeah. I don't have anything else, and so people say I look like a 47-year-old fat skateboarder, and I kind of do, but it's not because I'm trying too hard. You arrive at this beard and those hats because you're not trying at all. You don't care how you look at SportsCenter. On SportsCenter, you demand that people listen to your content and what it is that you have to say. And it's one of the reasons that I hate television. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. But beyond television's rigidities, where this happened to Bomani the other day. They come and talk to him. He's got to take a day off. The Daily Show comes and talks to him for 2 hours about a subject, and then they use 14 seconds. And this happens all the time in television, where it's just so inefficient. It makes me crazy. But beyond that, you're talking, and it almost doesn't matter what you're saying. It's about how you look and how you present it. What are you laughing about, Mike? That I'm fighting with the nose on this?
That
this
mask,
amongst other
mask?
things.
squeezing the life out of your
It
face.
really is. If I take this thing off, you will see that my face is going to look like an engorged sausage. Like if I take this off, it's going to look like when I take this off, my face is going to be so red because of how tight my face is in this, and I feel like how tight it is that it's pushing the fat down and creating a Jabba the Hutt triple chin situation because all of the fat is being squeezed down. And so what's going to happen under my face soon is it's going to be a combination of weight cutting in a sauna from a wrestler or an MMA guy. So it's going to be lard covered in sweat at the bottom of my face. What's going on with Dollar Shave Club? Have we made any progress?
We have put the call in. We put it in 50 minutes ago. It's Good Friday, so we might have trouble. Also, this is a very strange request. That's not really what Dollar Shave Club does.
They don't
really.
have emergency crews.
Yeah,
I need an
mobilize.
emergency surgery
Fix
is
your
what I need.
face.
I need a mobile, if they were doctors, I would need a mobile emergency surgery. I don't need merely the ambulance to get here. I need the ambulance to get here and perform surgery here on air. So that's where we are with this. We will get to sports stuff in a moment. But Stugotz had an interesting thing off the Duke game. He was reading something and he got, as Stugotz often does, a little bit indignant and chose sides because that's what you do in sports. So what is the story from the Duke game? Duke loses last night. My father went 0-8 with his college basketball predictions, money line and spread combined.
Wow.
0-8. My father rocked it last night on television.
Makes me proud of my 2 and
Yes,
2.
the Poppy Parlay. How are your picks going in general? Because that's the first time you've mentioned it, and my
Right.
guess is if you mentioned it, proud of your 2 and 2.
Yeah, I was 3-10 the first weekend of the tournament. So
Wow.
3-10 followed up by a 2 and 2. I got 4 more picks tonight that we'll send out later.
Wow, 3 and 10.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a tough weekend. But your Iowa State over saved me. And your boys play tonight. I'm taking that over again tonight, man. They
So
saved me.
So what do you got? What do you got on this Duke story?
I'm not so much taking sides. I just find it interesting. I think most people are going to side with Coach K, and that's the part I find interesting. Oregon beat Duke last night, and one of Oregon's players, Dylan Brooks. Coach K does this thing, and I think it's very cool and very nice after the game where he's not just walking through the line shaking your hand. He'll stop and he'll talk to kids and maybe give them a little advice and tell them how great they are and stuff like that. And one of the kids, this kid, Dylan Brooks, during that exchange, he is saying that Coach K said to him, hey, you're too good of a player to be showboating. Knock it off. Like, you're too good of a player to be doing that. And that's what Dylan Brooks is saying. And afterwards, Coach K said, I never said that to him. And Dylan Brooks is like, I heard what I heard. So, and I just find it interesting that I think most people are going to side with Coach K here. And, it'd be a weird thing for the kid to make up, right? It'd be a weird thing for him to make up.
Yeah, in terms of who has incentive to lie, it's Coach K. It's not the kid.
Right. Absolutely.
But did you say you're not taking sides? Because it sounds like you just took the side of the kid. Didn't you just allege that you're not taking sides?
If I had to take a side, I would choose the side of the kid. So I guess I am taking sides.
There's a vine of it. You could read Coach K's lips. Like, he said, you're too good a player for that. Like,
Right. And he hit a 3, I think, early in the second half and said something to the Duke bench, and that infuriated Coach K. You could see it as it was happening. And then this kid is saying what Coach K said afterwards. And Coach K is saying, no, I didn't say it.
Would it surprise or disappoint you that Coach K, because he's got a pristine image, right? Would it surprise or disappoint you that he would lie about such a thing?
Yeah, because what he said is, I guess it's fine. Like, he's just saying, hey, you're a great player. You don't need to resort to that.
It's fine, except if you want recruits coming to your school, you do not want to be the guy who's rigid about being paternal and admonishing in a sport where swagger is
Yes.
something that lures people into the sport.
Sure.
Like you don't want to be Goose Gossage of coaching if you're trying to get kids to come to your school.
No, you don't. That's a good point. So I just find it. I think most people are going to go Coach K here. They're going to say they're going to believe Coach K, but he has more to protect than the kid has. I think that's a great point.
The kid has no reason to lie about that. What's going on with Dollar Shave Club? Am I going to have to wear this mask all show? Because it's getting uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm breathing poorly.
Right. I'm just telling you, as your friend, if the choices are what you currently look like under the mask or wearing the mask, go with the mask.
Can we get a larger mask? Can you guys call somebody and get a larger wrestling mask? Because I feel like I sound nasally because my nose is uncomfortably pressed against this mask. Why are you laughing so much at this, Mike? Why are you delighting in this so much?
Because you look absurd.
Okay.
More than Stu from the Clevelander on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Last year, over 3 million drivers switched to Progressive. Call or click today and find out if you can save. Dan, it is time for Straight Talk. It is presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost.
Well, I'm going to do straight talk here because I want to ask the audience, in the history of partnerships, however it is that you view them, whether it's entertainment collaborations, musical partnerships, marriages, I'd like to know what the audience thinks of when it thinks of a partnership to envy. And the reason I bring it up is because you and I have been at this 13, 14 years now together.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that makes its way into long-time relationships is now making an appearance where these things end. These things break up. Bands break up. Projects break up. Even successful things end.
Sure.
And so the first thing I want to ask the audience, whether it's sports or something else, what do you view as a utopian partnership where, whether it's Tom Hanks's marriage, whatever it is that you're looking at, you say, wow, that seems to make a lot of sense. That seems to work. The reason I bring it up is this, okay?
Yeah.
During the break, in every direction, you were unbelievably greedy, and that's what I married. But you were complaining about Mike and Allison having corporate cards. You don't have a corporate card.
Nope.
You were sitting there selling, because you do this. You try and manipulate what it is we talk about by talking about it during the break. You want badly for our listeners to vote for you in some Slice Miami poll where you're up against Greg Cody in something, and you won't shut up about it.
Yeah, I already beat Cody. We're on to the next round here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that you're doing, and you're just grabbing at everything. Like it's not enough that we've arrived in a place professionally that's better than any place we've ever been. You always notice the things that you don't have.
Yeah, I mean, that corporate card, man, that stung because we all went to lunch yesterday, and I was giving Mike a bunch of money. I was going to pay for like half of it or whatever, and Mike's like, hey, I got it. I got a corporate card. And I was flabbergasted. And then Allison said, I've got one too, to which I responded, well, why don't I have one? And then Mike said, because you'd probably pay your mortgage on it, and that's why I don't have one. And I would pay my mortgage on it.
Well, yeah, we've got some issues here because I feel, is this an accurate assessment? Mike, we know the creature we're dealing with here. Does Stugotz notice what he has or what he doesn't?
But he doesn't. I mean, that's not even up for debate.
Okay, because I feel like what's happening here and what happened during the break is that Stugotz lashed out at Coach K.
Yeah.
And I feel like Coach K is just getting the wrath because all of a sudden in the segment when we were on air, he wasn't mad. But then he started gurgling and he started with, shut up, Coach K, shut up. And we got a little private show because it's not quite enough to have a microphone in front of your face for 4 hours a day. We got to get a private show as well.
A bad private show, by the way.
Yeah, just trying to advance the show, guys. advance the conversation.
So, but I feel like he's lashing out in every direction. If we really cut to the core of this, it's because he noticed that I had a Sports Center hit this morning.
Yeah. I just want one of those, man. Like, come on, man. Well, actually, I had one, but it was like late night on ESPN, like news or something like that. It was about the University of Miami, and I totally faked my way through it. I was talking about the training facilities down at the University of Miami and how they're not up to speed with the rest of the school. I haven't been down to the University of Miami in a decade. Maybe that's why I'm not on SportsCenter.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, do they seem like a partnership? What's the partnership you would point to and say, because we're having problems here, and that's the straight talk. Like, I don't mind. We've got tensions around here. We've been together for a long time, and there's some issues here that have presented themselves.
And it's brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable network.
I would have said Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, but I was walking past the Inquirer at the supermarket, and it looks like love is on the rocks.
Okay, they've been together for a long time, but I'm not looking for just celebrity couples. I'm thinking of bands, because bands have all these tensions all the time. Who's the band that you look to and say, man, that partnership has endured over? I mean, the Rolling Stones have done a pretty good job of it. Now they're playing. Are they playing in Cuba tonight? Is that tonight?
I think it is tonight. Yeah. Grateful Dead would be a band for me that I looked at. I mean, guys have passed away, but they're still going at it. Pearl Jam would be a band that I would look at.
How about sports? What's a sports partnership that
Pop and the Spurs and Duncan with the Spurs.
Pop and Duncan.
and I guess Brady and Belichick too, right?
Definitely.
Even though Belichick keeps taking away Brady's pieces, but Brady keeps giving money back, and then all of a sudden Martellus Bennett is your tight end as they get him some help.
Dirk and Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
But I don't think, man, Dirk and Mark Cuban don't get to be a historic, enduring one in the class of the other two you just mentioned.
Despite having a championship, which obviously helps, but I guess you need multiple ones.
Well,
I mean, you go Wade and Riley before you go those two.
Is it championships though? Like, how about just good relationships, or does it have to be huge winning as well? Otherwise, is there such a thing as being able to do this, a really strong partnership that is the envy of others, if it doesn't result in giant winning? Is that
sports? It seems that way just off the cuff.
I think Brady Belichick is probably as good as we'll find.
Did you see Belichick, his silent protest at the NFL owners meetings? Did you read about any of that?
No.
Oh, man. First of all, he pushes all the microphones. He gets there 15 minutes late for an hour. This was so Marshawn Lynch combined with Cam Newton after the Super Bowl. I'm just here so I don't get fined, is what it was. So he gets there 15 minutes late. He pushes all the microphones and tape recorders away from him. He gets 100 questions. He answers many of them with "I don't know." He shrugs his shoulders, doesn't answer some of them by saying anything at all. He gives nonsensical gibberish, and it was pretty clearly because the Patriots are feuding with all the other owners who brought Deflategate on their head. Like, it was pretty obvious. He wasn't just being mumbling jerk. He was being freedom fighter. He was fighting. He was being a protester. He wasn't just being normal mumbling Belichick. It was fairly obvious that he was trying to say quite a bit without saying anything at all. Do I sound muffled because I'm wearing a surgical mask?
When I step on the scene, you all know me on the Dan LeBatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.